This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update. And before I get into it, I would just like to wish Butterbean a speedy recovery after he split his penis recently while having sex with his wife. And he discussed that on the Talking Tough podcast on this channel today. And I put the clip on here, and it looks very painful, and I'm very sorry that this happened to him. So I guess the big news today is, because nobody gives a damn about anything that's actually happening on the wrestling TV shows, is a bit of a social media / interview war between Ric Flair and Becky Lynch, who, I'll be honest, I do have a friend that likes Becky Lynch, but I find her boring, and I find the accent annoying, and I find her ugly. So I'm sorry about that. That's why those are some of the why I don't find her interesting. But she took some shots at Ric Flair and said that Flair is jealous of her, and he's just trying to get clout from her because I guess Flair's back to complaining about her calling herself the man, which I don't get. The fact is, other than the people that watch wrestling today and follow the product today, nobody knows who Becky Lynch is. If you walked around on the street and asked, very few people would know who she is, and very few people will remember her. Ric Flair is quite possibly the greatest of all time. And she did say that Flair has dug himself into a hole with other things, and he's trying to use her to get clout. But I actually looked it up. That the Plane Ride from Hell's Smear Job documentary about Ric Flair only had 153,000 viewers, according to Showbuzz Daily, and pulled a 0.07 rating. So how many people actually know about that and watch that beyond the smart marks? Let's be honest here. Did this make national or international news? Ric Flair is still doing appearances. There was no charges pressed. There was nothing that went to trial. It was all just hearsay. So I'll take Ric Flair's side on that one. He is the man. As far as the saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Ric Flair came up with that. I'd rather watch porn than watch a Becky Lynch match, to be quite honest with you. Or I'd rather watch an MMA fight, or I don't know, a UFO video. I have no interest in watching anything from Becky Lynch. She's boring. NXT only did a 0.11 rating. Raw only did a 0.42 rating. So very little interest in WWE these days. Robert said Becky Lynch could have been the new Red Rooster with her hairstyle last week on Raw. I'd actually rather watch a Red Rooster match. To be honest with you, I'd rather watch a Red Rooster match than a Becky Lynch match. And as Alexander says, I would rather watch Misha Tate any day over Becky Lynch. And I'm sorry to my friend that likes her. I'd like to die. There's some people that are fans of her, but I'm saying to compare her to Ric Flair is incomparable because nobody knows who she is compared to Ric Flair. Even non-wrestling fans know who Ric Flair is. He's one of the best ever. Packed arenas. Was one of the main stars when wrestling was actually in both of its peaks in the 80s and late 90s. John says he doesn't understand Becky's popularity. She's not attractive, not a good talker, not a good wrestler. Maybe because she's fucking Seth Rollins, who I also don't find entertaining. But maybe he has some clout and helped her get a push. I don't know. Fart Doctor Flair was complaining that she's using his catchphrase. John believes McMahon let Bianca Belair hold the belt. I don't know anything about that. I don't really follow it. Fart Doctor says Becky Lynch is the new click. Ed from Queens, how am I feeling since the injections? I have to admit, I did a light back workout today. Very light. Just kind of went through the motions and calves as well. I don't know. It's too early to say. The only way to really test it is let's see if I can bench 405 and not be in pain, which wouldn't be a smart thing to do. Alexander wants to see Ric Flair in AEW as Andrade's manager. And I'll be honest with you, Flair is one of the only things I would still watch in wrestling, and I said this on the record. If AEW does bring Ric Flair, and I'm not an Andrade fan, he's boring to me too. But if they brought Ric Flair to AEW, I would watch his segments on YouTube because he's still the most entertaining thing in wrestling. It's true. He is still the most entertaining thing in wrestling, other than maybe when The Rock comes back and cuts his promos here and there. Robert, like the Flair versus Steamboat matches. Trevs has been rewatching the wrestling challenges. I'd rather rewatch the 86 and 87 wrestling challenges than the current product too. Jason, any women wrestling I care for? I'm a fan of women's wrestling. Melina is one of the ones I like. There's many women wrestlers that I like. I'm a fan of it. I'm not hating on women's wrestling. I'm saying that I'm not a fan of. I'll agree with Alexander that Sasha Banks is more entertaining than Becky Lynch and also way better looking. Will Jenny Santana wrestle for Great North Wrestling? Probably, more likely than not. I'm working on some events right now for April and August, and there might be some more in between that. Alan says Andrade is awful. He doesn't interest me, for sure. Beavis would rather watch UWF. Alan, do I think the Von Erich boys are afraid of the Blood Hunter? Well, Lacey said the Blood Hunter was dangerous and everyone should beware of the Blood Hunter. So very possible, very, very possible that the Von Erichs are afraid of the Blood Hunter. And the Blood Hunter's next match is actually going to be in Von Erich country against none other than Carlito with the Texas title on the line. And not only will the Blood Hunter have Kevin Sullivan in his corner, he will also have the gorgeous Blaze in his corner. So that's going to be quite an amazing match. Clyde wants to see the Mountie in the WWE Hall of Fame. It's well-deserved. Well-deserved. He should be in there. I agree with that 100%. I would like to see that happen. It's long overdue.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free